Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the FATCAST, brought to you by Focused Ambition Training. I'm your host, Sydney Francis. I'm here tonight with one of my good friends, Matt Marshall. You're my first guest tonight on the show.
I'm honored.
So you should be honored
I'm
to
honored.
be on this show
Wow.
as my first guest. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, Matt Marshall. He played Division I football at Arkansas.
Yep.
He was a 2-year starter, and now he's into fitness. He's going to be joining me at Focus Ambition Training Center as a trainer heading up our kids division. So I wanted to bring you on the show tonight, to let people, know who you are. And so, tell us a little bit about yourself if you can.
Nah, even before we start, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity. It's an honor. Through my run-ins, just figuring out what's going on in the area. I always heard your name and the things that you've been doing. People really love you, and how you help them. So that's my model. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
No
100.
problem, yeah.
100.
The key word is he said that people love me, and I want to make sure that everybody hears that. Love is real. I love everybody else as well too. So the love is giving out love to everybody. You know what I mean? So, but my first question for you, I'm just going to dive right into it. So, what made you want to get into fitness?
I feel like fitness is a part of my life. Generally, that's kind of like that was it for my ticket to getting out. I can remember that starting in the backyard, in the dusty backyard on Morris Street in Camden, in the East Camden area, with my cousin Marlon, and the neighborhood kids, just trying to make sure we stay in shape. So if we ever come down to surviving, either the intimidation factor was set in or we were in position to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a really educated way to say it. That's an educated to say. Yeah, we get in the fight. We gonna whoop your ass. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's perfect. What's up? All right, but okay. Now, as far as your training style, you have a football background,
right?
How would you describe your training style? If someone was if you had to describe. If someone was going to come to you to work out with you, how would you describe how you're going to train them, basically?
What people don't know is I'm a track athlete first. I won 2 state champions in track and field in high school as well. Been involved in track since my 8th grade year. Mm-hmm. That was kind of my first introduction to sports, and it shed light on kind of different avenues on how to maneuver and get out the way. Mm-hmm. So I'm all about kind of speed and development. Everything's about performance. Everything's about balance. Everything's about posture. Yeah. I make a joke all the time where like, your posture this, your posture that. I make the joke or attest to saying, walk with your chest high. Walk with the chest high and eyes up. Because if your spine's in the proper position, you'll be successful at a lift. You'll be successful at a run. Mm-hmm. And then football comes in. Football comes in power. Agility, reaction, a lot of neural work. I had opportunity to be coached up underneath Jason Veldkamp at the University of Arkansas, who's a guru, and he had some really strong guys around him in terms of power lifts, like Kurt Smith, and also in speed, Anton Sharp, who's a beast out of Duval County, Florida, who I got a lot of respect for, and he was all about mindset and being opportunistic. Mm-hmm. And kids, don't say words that you don't say all the time.
True.
But I'm an opportunist.
Yeah.
And I want to say you make a test to that. When it comes to lift, or lifting, or even movement and action, you got to be able to see it and just break it down. So everything's all about mindset to me.
True.
Everything's all about mindset to me. Putting yourself in position to win.
Right.
And even in that process, understand that you have to win. Mm-hmm. Even the thing about wins and losses and lifts or in runs is you're going to fatigue, but you're going to need stamina and mind and the neurologics to step in.
Gotcha.
When your body's breaking down and you feel like you can't go anymore, you have to tell yourself in the midst of that challenge that you can do it.
Right.
So everything's more so mindset and balance with me. Coming from underneath those guys, we had a real good run at University of Arkansas.
Nice.
A couple of championships. So everything's about winning the championship and also being successful.
Okay. And now, I remember you told me a story before about how you got yourself into the University of Arkansas, about how you started to carry a camera to start to record yourself with the track. That was really like you was doing that before, like, social media was even really big about, just marketing yourself. Right. Tell us how did that come about, and how did that help you get into the University of Arkansas?
I mean, us being entering the 21st century now, everybody's all about camera and being seen. I remember it was a point where, I just needed my dad, who's a pretty hardworking dude.
Yeah.
He came up and was just like, hey man, we need to buy you a camera. And I'm just like, why? He said, it's because you need to see yourself. And I'm thinking like, generally, like, what do I need to see? But in reality, I didn't know that he was just saying, like, you need to see yourself, do what you do so you can get better. Later on in life, I learned that was film study. Mm-hmm. Everything we do at the professional level, had the opportunity to work in the NFL, working with NFL players and things like that, doing this. And everything we did was either on the fisheye or just kind of like down the field, seeing yourself in stride, balance, movement, how much ground you're picking up, where are you in space, things like that, and breaking that down. Mm-hmm. If you can see it, you can break that down each millisecond. So what happened was my dad got me this camera, and I ended up just getting my teammates to kind of record my runs, or splicing film and things like that, or just kind of like sideline action, kind of like checking out from the sideline stuff. I got to see my demeanor and realize, like, when things happen negatively on the scoreboard, how do I respond and stuff like that. Yeah. But the funny joke is, going into or finishing my senior year, I was headed to a smaller school. I was ready to just kick tail, because that's the position I was put in. So it was about to, just have to do what you got to do, turn up. But I didn't have any large scholarships, or big school scholarship, and I also didn't have a highlight tape. This was just coaches coming to see me and watch me play there at Camden High. The cool part about it was I got a chance to get this film together with one of my old coaches from my freshman year, who was a really influential person in my life. Coach Dick, God rest his soul. Yeah. He was like, hey, you got a highlight tape? And I'm like, nah, coach. He's like, where you going to school at? I said, to school I was going to. He's like, you're not going there. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't have a highlight tape. You didn't give yourself a shot. So he made me go to his house. My first time going to his house and things like that. Come to find out, he's been doing this for guys, right? Yeah. We go down in the basement, and he had all his equipment pretty much similar like the studio. And he cut my film up. And so I was thinking outside the box, and he's like, yo, this is good stuff. Look at this catch right here. Look at this. You're about to get a D1 scholarship. Yeah. And then I kind of, I remember that I had some extra cassettes or some extra tapes, small minis. Mm-hmm. So I gave him this one tape when I won states in the 55-meter hurdles, and it got me running right down the lane, attacking hurdles, striding through and finishing through the line in first place. Well, every school I sent this tape out to sent me a Division I scholarship in the mail, and this was in April. I graduated in June. That was 2 months before I graduated. Mm-hmm. 2 months before I graduated. So, that being said, the footage and the film study turned into my whole avenue on the way out. And again, we sit in the 21st century. Everybody wants to be recorded. So, everybody sees the value in that. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy I saw it back then.
That's crazy. That's innovative. That's forward thinking. My next question is about nutrition. We're in fitness. Nutrition is very important. How much of a role did your nutrition play in your success, going from high school to college and even going to pro? How much emphasis was placed on that in order to get you to that next level?
You are what you eat. Mm-hmm. You are what you eat. I grew up eating yams, cow foot, like really traditional West Indies, or Caribbean foods. Yeah. But the thing I learned about cow foot, which was a big deal, was that, that jelly or the structure that the cow is made of, it goes directly to your bones. The yams, the content that's inside the yams goes directly to your muscles, also feeds your bones and also helps out the blood as well. Mm-hmm. So I've always been a strong believer in you are what you eat. And then, the joke was always kind of like, you are how you look as well. Mm-hmm. You look good, you play good, you feel good, you are good. Right. So in terms of nutrition, it's like many ways you can get to the goal you want. It just depends on how you feel about yourself, what you're into, and what are you willing to do. You got to be willing to eat a certain kind of way. You also got to be willing to fast as well. Oh, yeah. and hydration. Hydration is really important. So you can get to your optimum level in terms of performance and things like that.
Yeah.
All about how you eat.
And you mentioned fasting, because I remember you told me another story about before your one of your biggest races,
Right.
you fasted. How much do you think that the fasting played in the part of you actually winning that race? And tell us a little bit like about that.
Oh, so the right. That's a really strong story. So what going along with the nutrition, you are what you eat, because your body's a true vessel, right? And later on, I came to understand that we're true satellites to everything that's going on around us, right? We're not just bags of bones moving around. We all have purpose, every single one of us.
You have attraction, you get off energy.
Exactly,
right.
Manifestation, all those good things, right? I'm growing up, you're always trying to find different avenues, find ways to, again, to survive. Church was one of mine. I can remember being 9 years old and going to the step or going inside a Pastor Scott's church by myself, just kind of like being this adventurous little kid. I found myself at Pastor Scott's church also, rest in peace, because he was a great mentor at a young age. And going inside that church and, listening to him preach, later on as I got into scriptures and things like that and literature, religious literature and things like that. I came to find out that there's nothing new under the sun.
True. King Solomon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I came to find out that there's nothing new under the sun. So I learned about fasting and putting the body to the test, and satisfaction. Doing so in high school, I kind of took a step back from my girlfriend, took a step back from my friends, and kind of focused in on again, mindset. So the mindset thing has always been with me. Walk like a champion, you are a champion. So from there, I found myself, stepping away from the physical things, the mental things. So I wanted to get into the internal things. So I didn't eat. I virtually didn't eat anything but potatoes every other day. Probably a half a potato, one potato every other day, and just drink water and maybe bread. It was the most trying time of my life. But one thing I came to understand was, and I was like 16 and a half the first time I did it. I found myself, challenged, but at the same time in my runs, I see that where I was finding my energy was coming from a place that I didn't understand. We call it the jitters, or we call it being lit, or the kids will call it being, people will term it being lit, that excitement, right? I could see myself in training, just doing intervals of just like 3 hurdles here and there, or after like doing like 2000s, things like that over long runs, and then getting right into hurdles, and I'm finding energy from a place where I can't understand. Later on in life, I realized that it was definitely coming to a one self or a one body, where someone would say you're taking from your body's going, your body's freaking out and taking energy from other aspects, right? Eating from the muscles, things like that. But I will say that when you find yourself in that state, you only give your mind the opportunity to work and to push you through. I ended up winning states that week with on a fast. It was the most beautiful experience of my life. It was my first time winning states ever, something that I really wanted. Yeah,
and the beautiful thing about fasting that I think a lot of people don't even think about is because that they're so accustomed to just eating all the time.
Right.
Like they feel like they have to have something in their body all the time. And when you fast, you actually give your body that chance to actually fully heal itself. Because the bulk of the energy that your body is expelling on a daily basis is digesting food.
Right.
So if you give your body just a break for a day,
absolutely,
it can actually get rid of a lot of old things that's just been backed up and just been sitting there because it can't focus on it because you always have something coming in that it has to work on breaking down and getting out of your body. So it's like it's just in a constant state of of working. Overworking and working. So that's why you see how people start to pick up weight in certain areas because your body can't get rid of that waste fast enough.
Exactly. Right.
So if you give your body a day, 24 hours, 48 hours, your body can now eat through that extra fat that you may have lingering on your waist,
Right.
or your hip, or wherever you have it at. Your body can now take the time and actually get rid of that, because it's going to have to feed on something, and the first thing it's going to feed on is that excess fat, which
Right.
makes sense. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's a great story about fasting. You know what I mean?
And,
Very good story.
And I'm not saying at all that, like, you know, like you trade, like if we work in a developmental aspect or arena, I'm going to tell you to not eat.
Yeah.
What I will say is let's figure out what you are eating.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out how that affects the body and where does it actually go,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's see if we can cut back on that, take it away,
Yeah.
or replace it.
Right. And then even just incorporating it, like I said, like we're not saying don't eat, period, but give your body that chance to just reset itself, where you can just take one day a month, twice a month, where you give yourself
For sure.
24, 48 hours, even 16. What I always preach to a lot of my clients is just the intermittent fasting, where they do 16 hours straight of fasting and they eat 8 hours. And I've seen a lot of success with my clients doing that, with them losing weight and maintaining that weight loss because they've implemented that.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I think we can talk on that all night, but just the other question is, you have a lot of focused ambition gear on right now. I noticed,
Right.
It's very nice. The triangle is beautiful. It's red and black. It's right there. It's right there. So focused ambition. You are part of the focused ambition team. I mean, you could have went anywhere, because you have, the background, you have the resume, you definitely have the talent, and I know you already have the mind for this, because I've seen some of the plans you put together. What made you decide to, choose focused ambition training to, come and be a part of that team, to join that team?
Well, the cool part about it is, again, I'm always watching, and I'm a lover of my area. I'm a lover of my environment. I'm a true product of this environment. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And that being said, it definitely made me who I am. So I'm constantly just seeing what's going on in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I know people that, know you, and I also knew people that, know other people. And because, God blessed me with the opportunity to, play in the NFL, work with NFL athletes, join and work with professional track athletes in my passage or my journey through this world of fitness. I wanted to put myself in the right position. And honestly, when the invite was extended, it was virtually right on time. What I would add is, man, shout out to them Camden kids. I had the opportunity to coach and work with our high school scholastic athletes as the head track coach there at the high school in the city. I won two championships. Also won the South Jersey Championship at Penn Relays. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's all about how to win, and even when you lose, understand that you made some gains. So that's a win in that same fact. It could be time, it could be seconds.
Yeah.
That's what focused ambition is. Understand that you're not always going to come up, but you are going to improve. You are going to get better. And no matter if you walk out the ring, you got a dotey on your eye or a busted lip.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you last? Did you make it 12 rounds?
Right.
And when you made it in 12 rounds, what did you improve on from the last fight? Or in that case, what did you improve on from the last run?
Right.
Or in that case, what did you improve on from the last game?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always talking about, just being focused and being an ambitious young person. Young people have the perfect opportunity because they're in striking distance in terms of age. You're in a position where you have people that are older and that want to help you. But when you get to a certain space and a certain age in life, if you haven't done the things that you were supposed to do, it's kind of hard to get help. So while I know one thing I wanted to do was in my time with those kids, and my time with my youth from the city, was teach them about mindset and understanding that you have to be focused on what you truly want. Again, you might have a girlfriend, you might have a crazy parent at the house, you might come from a real rough situation, you might come from a really hot block. But the thing is, can you walk through the traffic and can you make it off that street? Mm-hmm. Can you focus through what's going on inside the house and understand that you have an opportunity in years, months, just from some actions, because anything can happen in 365 days that you can change the whole situation, everybody in your family, right? Or can you just trust that, for the young brothers out there that, it's 100, some thousand, it's 1,000,000 to 1 in the world right now, in terms of females and to the young ladies out there, because I had the opportunity to coach young ladies, that you are a precious being, and that if you can focus on yourself and you can mind yourself, you can really put yourself in a position to be a true goddess, a true mentor to other young ladies, a true mentor to other young men, just because of your focus and your ambition.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it all makes sense. And again, you know, I'm all about real and true and truth, and that's just the message. That's just the message, and that's just the vision. So you know, you got to align yourself with people and men alike attainment.
True.
And everybody that you got on your team, everybody that's on staff, and everybody that you work with. Again, you know, they say and always have said high praises to you and gave high praises to you. So, you know, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about myself and who I am as a person. I want to put myself around strong people too, and also sharks and go-getters.
Yes, sir. And that's what we are. That's exactly what's at Focused Ambition. So, hey, look, well, that's the end of the interview, man. I appreciate you coming on. I think we got a great idea of got you. I'm still talking. I think we got a pretty good idea, you know, of who Matt Marshall is. You know, like I said, everybody, he's going to be training at Focused Ambition Training at 7 East Broad Street in Palmyra, New Jersey. So if you want to book a session with him, you know, you're able to do that through our website, focusedambitiontraining.com. Thanks again for coming on to the show. And you have something to say? You got another thing?
Most definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Most definitely. Parents, if you truly desire to put your children in the best position, you don't have to send them over here to Focused Ambition. But when you can and while you can, give them truth. And when you can and while you can, don't let them sit in front of that video game. Keep them moving. Motivate them. Talk to them about the greater things and the greater goods in life, even if you didn't experience it. Teach them about the things that you have always wanted. And I can guarantee you right now, if they hear it enough, coming from their main source of energy, their people, it will sit in. It will take action. It will make a media and create a beautiful model of what you're trying to create. Now, if we can help, if I can help, from any perspective, send them our way. 7 East Broad Street. It's going down. I can tell you right now. I won 2 state championships. We won 2 state championships. A lot of young people inside really prestigious universities right now, from Miami, Rutgers, Western Michigan, Syracuse University, and they're in great position to help out their families. That's a mindset. It's not about talent. It's not about speed. It's not about being fast. You can coach all of those things up. It's about putting your people around the right people, so we all can be successful, and we all can be put in the right position and make some great things happen.
Bet.
Focused Ambition.
Yes, sir.
Kids.
And that's our show today, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is the FATCAST. We out.